good evening. I would like to make a couple invitations to you. Don't know if you'd be interested. I'm looking for a spy. He's got to be really good. He's got to love God with all his heart, all his soul, and all his mind. Or her, either way. And love neighbor as self. Okay? Those are like two very important things. And then the other thing is that there's one thing you'll lose your job no matter what. It's pride. If you can do those two in one, don't do this, do those two. It's almost as simple as Adam and Eve. Anyway. This is what your job would be. You're going to have to care for every single person in the world. And there's a whole lot of them. Even more than all the aborted babies in the world. Can you imagine that? Sometimes I wonder if they're trying to abort everybody. But anyway, let's get off of that. As a spy, what you're going to do first is you're going to start praying for everybody you see. No matter what. You got to do it. Because what you're doing is you're telling God what you're noticing. See what I mean? And you're showing him how you care. Because you see, he knows everything already. But he wants to know what you want to know. Because if you don't want to know anything, you might not. And that might not end so good, especially in times like this. So, this idea came to me that if we started like getting together like this and praying for like the whole world, like, and all these princes of Persia and everything. I don't know if you've read about that yet. If you haven't, you really need to get your Bible open now. Those audio Bibles. If you don't realize that back in Jesus' day, did they ever, like, when he was turning water into wine, they talk about reading the Bible? Or when they were, did they ever talk about it like that? No, because they didn't have it. They had the scrolls of the temple. So, the only way that the peoples read the Bibles in those days was to go to the temple and have a scroll read. Like when Jesus said, this has been fulfilled in your eyes. Like it's about to happen right now. And everybody's the same as they were then. Like, what are you talking about? What? Wait, isn't that like a carpenter guy or something? What the heck? What is he talking about? You didn't even go to school, did you? You're from that like Nazareth or something? That's like the low-income area of town. What the heck? Why would we listen to you? Look at this pastor. He's got these really nice clothes. He's telling us all these beautiful things, and they make our ears feel so good. And they make us so comfortable when we're sitting in our chairs. Because some of these other guys, they talk about sin and all these things, and it just really bugs us. So we'd rather, like, have this guy, you know? Well, that kind of stuff doesn't work in this situation, okay? Because we are, like, helping God. We're helping, like, you know, the world. Because we care. And apathy doesn't exist with us. Not at all, not at all. Because, see, there's this verse. And it says that one day, every knee will bow and every tongue confess that Jesus Christ is Lord to the glory of God the Father. So it's kind of funny to me when people go, you better accept Jesus right now or you're going to hell forever. And I always go, you know, I understand where they got it from because believe me, I know about all these things. Well, not all of them, but a lot of them. Sorry. But do you understand what I'm saying, right? It's it's not that difficult. It's just like, we need to wake up. We need to get ready. So, Let's get those simple things ironed out. Focus that every knee will bow and every tongue will confess that Jesus Christ is Lord. Now, some people call that universalism. Because, see, the thing is that whatever happens to the bad people, and see, that's really not our decision. Everybody wants to stay in the Bible and figure it out. Well, this is going to happen. This is going to. And if you don't go to my church, you're burned hell forever. But I am going to be saved by grace. And if I sin anymore, it's okay because Jesus died for me. So I'm saved by grace. So if I fool around or whatever, actually, I still kind of want to be a pimp. And I might do it. But you see what I'm saying? It just doesn't work. It doesn't work like that, okay? It's not that simple. Like this Mac Bitter Truth, if you've seen him on BitChute, he does amazing things. He does some exposés. I was like, wow. Like the hospital, he's like, goes to the hospital, look at this. He shows, the ones that they do the, big shows on, it's all packed. And he goes in and he shows there's 7 doctors around an empty bed with like a bunch of cardboards look like a person. That's not even, it's an outbreak. Oh, really? So stuff like that is really good because it helps people. See? So he is following the 2 greatest commandments. So isn't it kind of blasphemous? Like the unforgivable sin? For any of us to say, if you don't go to my church, there's no way that you'll make it, and you're going to burn for hell and ever. Burn in hell forever. Do you see what I'm saying? And what we need to do is we need to think, for this little thing we're doing, we need to think, just get hell out of our head, because that's not for us. Okay? In that part, judge not. That part is, judge not lest you be judged is pretty huge right here, because we're trying to live, I think. I mean, I'm sure God could just... and I guess there's already that, 2 football field straight headed our way, so... You can kick back. I think Netflix has a new show. It's talking about how, the new, not 19, the 21's coming out, and we're still going to be, all muzzled. So... you got to figure out what you want here. It's just that simple. So let's go with this idea, okay? That everybody's going to bow down to Jesus Christ as Lord one day. Now, if that's true, don't you think that all those people that are going to bow down that day are going to have some kind of leftover attitude with everybody, right? So if I go up to somebody and say, you better do this, because if you don't go to my church, burn in hell forever, because that's what God showed me. And how's that going to get us all together? And do you think God looks down on that and goes, oh, that's my people? Because, a long time ago, those, Egyptian things and everything, a lot of problems came when one of them said, I am God's people. Well, it's because we were descendants of Abraham. Well, when I was a kid, I always understood that we're all descendants of Abraham because I thought that was like the seed. Back in Adam and Eve kind of thing. And now everybody's all divvying it up. Okay, wait, the Cain one over here, and then this one over here, and this one over here, and then Abraham, he got that bad side one over there, and those are those bad guys. They come Muslims, they're all bad. It's just, what is this? It's like a zoo. And you know what it is? It's like a 3D chess of blame games. So let's stop blaming. And let's stop figuring out what's wrong with everybody. And we're not going to be praying like, thank you, Lord, that I am not like those sinners. I am holy, and that's why you picked me to be your son, because I'm so special. And these other people, well, they're just dogs. And, you'll probably throw them out because they're really not yours. They were just kind of like a mistake. Or a couple dogs came around, strays, whatever. So, they're not that really important. But we, your chosen ones, we're so special. So I want you to think about that whole thing that's been happening with this whole chosen things from way back in time about who, and even Jesus said, you guys would stop thinking about my dad was this and my dad was this. He said, what the heck are you talking about? It doesn't matter what tribe you came from or anything. God could make sons of Abraham. Like the real blood that they're all freaking out about. From these rocks. So what are you guys getting all stressed out about? And to this day, there's some people going, well, let's see. If my skin color is this, then maybe my ancestor was from over there. And then I'm kind of confused because I like to be in the sun. I'm white. So am I half or whatever? It's just crazy. It's just crazy because we think like really stupid. If we thought about how God looks from above at us, how stupid could we be? Because it's so obvious that all the churches are a bunch of shopping centers. Okay? So here's the thing. What we're going to do is we're going to start praying for everybody. And then, if soon you start going to a church, you're going to be an agent. And so if you see some of that peace when there is no peace, then we're going to have to start doing some investigations for the OIA, the Original Intelligence Agency. Because, right now, these false prophets that are saying peace when there's no peace, and they're not looking too good, if you know what I'm saying. Not just with me. Think about these people who've been paying $100 a month to get really close to God, and now they're all alone. And do you think that church is running over there to hug them? Oh no, we gotta stay social distance. I can't come over till after the pandemic or something. Right? Because now that they got all their money and nobody wants to go there anymore because they started sitting home going, all this stuff that I've been going over there for doesn't really feel like I know God now. That's really interesting. So, what we're trying to do is have members of one church. There's only one church. And it's not a den of thieves. And it doesn't have 4 walls. Wow. It's called a house of prayer. Wow. And see, some of us, we could have meetings in the park with hundreds of people. And we could just talk about God. And we won't be pushing people. You better accept Jesus. You're going to hell right now. No, we're not going to do that kind of stuff. We're just going to show love. And maybe make a bunch of food and give it to people. Did you know that when David became king of Israel, after he became king, one of the first things he did was he took off his shirt and he walked all over the town and he screamed and sang and danced, glorifying God. A bunch of girls were smiling at him. And you know what? He got home and his wife was like, "What did you do that for?" That was the end of that marriage. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is that David, when he became king and he did all that, one of the first things he did was he made a roast of meat and a cake, raisin cake. Wow, that was really special to me. And something else. I think maybe a bottle of wine or something like that. Not exactly sure, but something to that degree to every family in Israel. Now that's a kingdom. Now do you understand why when Jesus talked about his kingdom, that he kind of like hinted that it would be like David's? Maybe. Because I've never had a king gave me like a killer roast and a raisin cake. That would be really cool. You know what I'm saying? Instead of a welfare check that's actually my money anyway, that's just recycled into some whatever. Do you understand what I'm saying? So in the house of prayer, what we're going to do is we're going to put God first, and we're going to put others before ourselves. So we're just going to be praying like madmen. So you can start anytime. And you don't have to register or nothing. There's no fee. It's all free. And oh, by the way, there's somebody always there to talk to. It's a really nice benefit. And you know what? When you talk to them, it makes you comfortable. It's really cool. And the other thing is that when you talk to them, you get closer to God. And the other thing, when you talk to them, you get more power. Has anybody ever heard of human growth hormone? It's really bad, right? Well, did you know it's inside your body? Oh, yeah, it is. But what happens is when people get older, it's really hard to get at. But it still is there. And it does come out. But you have to like really push it to the edge. You know what I'm saying? What if there was spiritual growth hormone? That would be amazing. And if you were like praying without ceasing, you could have mountain moving power. No. So, this is just a couple little invitation ideas. If you want to start the spying and all that, just start right away and start praying for everybody, just the whole world, and everybody you know, all the people you see in town, people you see in the store, just pray for them silently, because the demons, they're all over right now. There's a lot of them, and they're listening. But see, the problem is that when you pray silently, the OI gets the signal, and the AI can't find it. So it's like we're beyond Mossad agents. Wow! And you know what? You don't have to like do bad things and all that kind of stuff. You can be like all good, like a righteous agent. That would be amazing. And you know, if you think about it, isn't that what angels are? Wow. So here's another thing. If you're having demonic problems, did you know that if you resist the devil, he will flee from you? Because he's not real comfortable and you're not like enjoying him. And the other thing is that when you pray and fast and things like that, then what happens is demons get really uncomfortable. They hate it when you pray. So like they just leave, you know. And then what usually happens is all of a sudden angels want to be around you. It's really weird. They want to help make you comfortable. Like there's many times that I've been 20 feet high on a ladder, on a plank, okay, and walked off the end because I was too busy looking. But see, because I was like really focused on my work and working as unto the Lord, then all of a sudden I felt something push me back onto the plank when I stumbled and almost fell off 20 feet. And this has happened like 20 times. So this is just what happens when you're right, when you're praying right, when your heart's right, and you're starting to get that moving mountain power. Because we really need that right now. And especially in that silent prayer area, that's where you are a beyond Mossad agent. You are an OI. You are the original intelligence. You're part of it. Okay, so we got to focus. We got to keep our eye on the goal. What is the goal? The goal is the kingdom. And it's coming. So welcome to the church. So I guess we should start by praying. Oh, dear Lord, thank you so much for all you've done for us. Thank you for how we're learning that through this time we can draw near to you, and that you're always there for us, and they haven't given up on us yet, because it's quite obvious that we deserve to be given up on. And so bless us and help us grow this church that will never, ever be a den of thieves, because there won't be anything but love to steal. And that's how we think your church was meant to be. So help us with that. And may you get all the glory always in it, so that on that day, when you come in your kingdom, we can be a much bigger part of it. Because let's remember that I think there might be, like in the kingdom, there might be like mansions. And I've worked in some really nice mansions and actually prayed that maybe I could live in one of them. And I think there's also going to be some studio apartments for those who were told, not so well done there, buddy, but you made it. Because that's what 1 Corinthians 3 talks about. But nobody reads that. Okay, so let's try that. Thank you. And keep it up. We're a team, but we gotta be together. We don't want no hanky-panky, especially right when we're starting this, okay? We're trying to focus. Because right now, if we kick it off big, then God really be in it, and it can grow to like, wow. Imagine that. Because Jesus said, you took my house prayer and made it to a den of thieves. It's still a den of thieves. So if we like made it into a house of prayer, then maybe he would be more likely to want to come live in his kingdom. That seems about logical to me. Not that complicated, right? So, I hope this wasn't too much. It was kind of a long one. We went through a lot, but I think it's kind of important to be a house of prayer. And especially when there's no inner circle fee. And, oh, that's the other thing. You will never be allowed to collect any tithe or any money from anyone ever. And there will be like a donation box in the back, but that will be like for orphans and widows and stuff, you know, people that actually need help. Thank you. And may this be the year that begins the church, the real church. So, oh, that's the other thing. Wait, before I forget. If you join this church, you can no longer call yourself Pentecostal. You can no longer call yourself Presbyterian, Covenant. None of them. I don't even want to know what church you came from. I don't even want to know if you're a Buddhist. I just would like you to come. We'll just like love on each other. Wouldn't that be a great church? So, let's do these things. Thank you. Have a good night.